have the pleasure of speaking to an Iraqi interpreter for the United States Army. I was asked by a buddy of mine, Blake, if I was interested, and I have had the pleasure of speaking to Muhammad. As you guys can tell, not everybody's name is spelled the same exact way, and I had a 5 minute history lesson on this, and I super privileged to speak to him. He is part of the Billings community. How you doing, Muhammad?
I'm doing good, and thank you. Pleasure to meet you and be part of this podcast.
Yeah, like I was saying to you, is that I find it's going to be really interesting because what you experienced and what I experienced was different, similar but very different.
Correct, correct. We're all again exposed to different things or same thing in a different ways. Put it that way.
Yeah, so I normally would just jump right in and ask you how it was while you served for the United States Army, but I believe that your story really starts off much earlier that based off of your background with your mother and your father and then where you grew up.
So first of all, for your audience, I'm Mohammed Suleiman, originally from northern Iraq, province called Kirkuk. I born and raised in Kirkuk city, and after 2003, I got the chance to join the U.S. Army as an interpreter, and it wasn't easy. You know, you had to take a test and present yourself, and of course do the background check and all that lovely stuff. So and then that's how I joined U.S. Army, and I loved every second of it. The people that I served with, we were like brothers. I watched their back, they watched mine, and then a little bit of history lesson. The province that I grew up in, it's a it's kind of like a what U.S. it looks like in a lot of bigger cities. It's a diverse, has a four, five different ethnicities live there: Kurds and Turks, Arabs, and uh, people are original uh, Iraqis, which is Assyrians, and then or like Chaldeans. People are kind of like got exposed to light recently here in US. Uh, and then we have people that who follow also Prophet David, and they have their own ethnical group, their own different type of worship. And the last was Yazidis. They're originally are Kurds. I believe they originate from uh, Southwest Asia. Uh, then they come in the different ethnic groups. Part of them are uh, Pharisees or Iranian, and some of them are Turks, and some of them are Kurds. So, so I grew up in this melting pot culture, and unfortunately, when I grew up in that country back then during Saddam's time, we were the minorities. I grew up in a culture that I had no rights. My people could not uh, own a store or a business or register uh, any real estate in their names unless you convert your ethnicity uh, to Arab or Kurd, and which is it's like you can't. It's just it's like this is your roots. So you can't change it, but it was back then. You change it on the paper. So uh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Sound like you had a question.
No, I'm listening to it. I wanted to be able to make sure I give you the pause because what comes to my mind is we the average American don't understand how it is to have no rights and to be told if we want to have rights, you need to abandon who you are and become something else.
Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, it's a little bit extreme. Unfortunately, a lot of the uh, Middle Eastern countries live the same lifestyle. It's you'll find one particular group are dominant, controlling the country, and basically uh, they plan the routes to stay that way. And those minorities don't have a right to even like, for example, Syria. Like Kurds for a long time in Syria didn't have a right to citizenship. So stuff like that. As for me in Iraq, we couldn't have right to own any real estate or register it in our names.
There was a tribe of people that you mentioned. I thought it was called Yazidis, but
Uh-huh.
what's their name?
Yeah, Yazidis.
You
They're
just go ahead.
so they worship. I want to say they worship the fourth, or they think. I had a lot of friends, Yazidi friends, but they think as of uh, Satan at some point when he was an angel, uh, they think he was their prophet. So they kind of follow him in that aspect.
Because when I was working with the Iraqi Border Patrol, the IBP,
Uh-huh.
we had a few Yazidis over there. We had a few Kurdish, mostly Sunni and Shiite. And what I've actually noticed is that both the Kurds and Yazidi really didn't get the best equipment. They actually got the hand me downs of the hand me downs of the hand me downs. And it was very interesting seeing the interaction between the different nationalities.
One more thing about the Yazidis, like uh, the majority of them, they believe the ones at least in Iraqi region, they believe they're Kurds, and that's who they are. They were Kurds, so they don't look at themselves as like, oh, we're Yazidis. It's more of a like a religious to them than ethnicity, and they are super nice people. I had couple of friends, and they were Yazidis. They're super friendly, helpful. They always generous, and uh, when it comes to the equipment parts, me and you both know it's more of a like a controlled by different countries because when you supply uh, uh, those regional armies and equipment where they can stand up and fight and ask for their rights, then it will destabilize that region. So they don't want that. They want the central government, whatever they are, to be more powerful. If those guys at some point, at any point, would think about, hey, we want to claim our own land, you know, we're about 40 million population. We have the right to own our region. They try to avoid those uh, complications.
So going into more of the present day, actually not today, but it was going back into how old were you when you joined the U.S. Army as a interpreter?
So I was 23, 24. I was like in there turning 24.
What made you decide to go say, "Hey, I would like to one help out with the communication of the Iraqi army"? What was your intentions of being an interpreter?
Well, the first thing is like, I wanted to change. If I'm speaking from on a standpoint, I wanted to change my own lifestyle because I grew up again in this bubble that I don't know what's the difference until you interact with it, you until you communicate with it. That was my first point. The second point was uh, joining U.S. Army as an interpreter is like I know because of the difference of language and culture, uh, that might lead into altercation and might, you know, uh, us being there as interpreters, we easing that up where people can communicate and help each other.
Hmm. So, as a person that wanted to change, and I want to talk about this next area, then I'm going to go back to how it was being an interpreter. When you got that change, when you came, when you, how did it make you feel? And was there any other discomforts that came across with the change of what you wanted and then what you got it?
So the discomfort was from the people that was outside the U.S. base. You know, it's like when I got to meet these soldiers and join their group or basically do missions with them. I, I mean, a lot of them I communicate with till nowadays. Um, uh, they were super friendly. I mean, yes, there's the minus couple things here and there, but the majority was like they were friendly. They were always uh, helping and the message they were relating for outside, helping communities, whether it's a projects to help little communities, villages. That was the message. That's what the intention was, and the discomfort part was from uh, the groups outside that, which was a lot of the Arabs that I grew up around, because the mentality and the mindset is they always see if you try and do something good, they translate it into betrayal of their people. So
It's not uncommon. Like we see this over here with the Native Americans, like at Fort Peck area. There was
uh-huh.
a Navy SEAL that went back there, and he ended up getting stabbed by his own people. And ha- the difficult part, I would actually assume, is like, did you feel like you were abandoning your old roots by actually being part of this?
No, no, no. And like personally, it didn't change me who I am, but it educated me too how to interact, how to communicate with people that they come from a different nationalities or different mindsets. But that was it. It's just it didn't change me who I am. It's I don't think so, it changes anyone.
Hmm. It, So I guess the reason I was asking that question is that I've seen where people, when they start changing, or they
Hmm.
start to grow educationally, or they go to a different state, or a different community, or a different country, they're leaving behind, not intentionally, but quite a bit of time. They're leaving their friends behind, their family behind, part of their customs behind, and now learning to accept something new. And I was wondering if you ever experienced any of that.
That is true. So like, you know, when uh, interact or leave your country and then go to different communities and learn more and educate yourself, you get to the point that you don't see the life as a black and white, and you kind of like open up, you understand better. And then like culturally, where I come from is a lot of people do think that way. It's either it's black or it's white. I assume some here are the same mindset till they uh, go to different countries. So those people, like even when you uh, I wouldn't say argue with them, communicate with them, or try to explain certain things, they wouldn't take it. They'll think because you left your roots, it changed you, that you no longer abide by those rules, and uh, but they don't see, they haven't explored outside. They have not seen it, so they're still on that old mindset.
The limited mindset of what you know is what you know, and it's it's difficult sometimes trying to explain to somebody that can only see in black and white what gray looks like, or if a person that can only see gray what color looks like, and being able to help them reshift their narrative. So, like, I know you mentioned to me before we actually jumped on here about when you moved to Billings, so because you
Hmm.
went to Rochester first, New York, then you came to Billings. And how was it when you started to practice your prayers or practice your even your religion that you left back in your country and brought it here?
So, first of all, I moved to Syracuse, New York.
Apologize.
Yeah, you know, you're
Uh,
good, you're good. So, like, religious wise, I, I don't know for myself. I know I'm Muslim, still a Muslim. Uh, did not, I would say, I wouldn't, did not practice it like everybody else. Like, I was just, you know, I know my faith, I know my holy book, and but did interact in New York because of their bigger communities, and uh, they have their mosques over there, and they attended. It was friendly from New Yorkers, and due to here in Billings, due to like a fewer family members here, it was not the right time or to open up a mosque and interact and do practice your religion. I mean, I practice it privately at my own home, but a lot of my friends that they know that my background and what I do, and they have respect for it. I'll tell you an example. There was a company that I worked for, and our terminal manager, he knew that I don't eat pork. He would bring pizzas, well, like for everybody else with bacon and jalapeno, and it would bring me specifically for me, and he would write my name on it. It'll be like, "This is for Muhammad, uh, a chicken pizza." He would do that. I'm like, that was amazing. It's like he like thought of me, and I have seen uh, a lot of people here in Billings, the ones they know about Islam or Muslims. They're super respectful. I mean, like there are times that when I'm fasting or doing Ramadan, I have had friends they would not eat in front of me, and it's super beautiful. It's respectful.
so you felt like you were being seen here, even by people that don't fully understand
100%.
your. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How was it for you when you were serving as an interpreter, especially during Ramadan? Because I know Ramadan, like it rotates throughout the years, and like
Hmm.
what months they are in, and how was it
It
when you were working with them?
so it was not easy with the temperature in Iraq, especially in the summertime. So for Ramadan, it kicks back 10 days every year. Goes back 10 days. So it changes. It could be in the middle of the winter. It can be in the middle of the summer, spring, you name it. So it's not always stays on the same month. So in Iraq, when I was doing it, most of the time it fell in the middle of the summer. Oh gosh, it was not fun. It's people around me. Again, the soldiers were super respectful, uh, but carrying all that weight, wearing body armor, and walking with those thick layer uniforms, it was not easy. It but I managed it, and a lot of people who fast and practice Ramadan, they did the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
When so I'll ask a difficult question. When
Hmm.
you were working with the army,
Uh-huh.
did you ever feel like some of these people that you were working with went against your moral compass about how they?
Not really, no. And I'm being dead honest. It's a lot of people that I worked with, and they, uh, again, from my own standpoint, because we were the minorities, and a lot of people were minorities, and we were under dictatorship, and everybody knows that. And uh, that these people came literally to uh, free us, regardless of the messages was sent back. Whether if it's was for oil, whether it's not. But I'm talking about the soldiers, how they conducted their missions, and how I mean the units that I worked with, they were super friendly. I never felt that I was outside that group, or an outsider. I never felt that. As I said earlier, it's like I knew always they had my back, and I had theirs.
That is awesome because, like, I know when I was in the service, when I was in the Marines, um, there was some stuff that we did that made us more angry or angry towards people. And some of the things that we would say was actually, it was out of spite and out of anger, and it was an emotional issue. And I was just wondering if that ever impacted you at all, but it sounded like you worked with some top-notch dudes.
They were super friendly. I mean, this is the thing. It's like I understand. This is where interpreters came in. I was interpreter and also a culture advisor in Iraq. So to get these two different people into the same table and have them communicate, that you needed someone like us. So it's first of all the language barrier, culture barrier. It was in effect. So like certain thing into like Iraqis and Arabs in particular, it's just like word how the Americans interacted or did it. It was eyebrow raising. And there are certain things is like to Americans, how these guys do it is it was not like, hey, this is not friendly. These guys are like enemies. Why we're helping them or why we're doing that. So interpreters, the region that I worked in, Kirkuk province, and like we made easing that up. We got them to the same table. We tried our best to have him communicate, and we try to minimize our losses from both sides.
Because I remember actually sitting at the table with some of the Iraqi army, because and also the border patrol as well, and we would eat together with each other. And we, even though we were teaching them military tactics, and I was teaching them telecommunications, it's it was interesting about the differences. I was actually heavily warned by my major not to wrestle any of them. Um, One of the guys he was a pretty big dude, and my major was like, "Well, if you win, or actually, he said, Fruin, if you win, it's going to look bad. If you lose, it's going to look bad. So just stick to ping pong with them."
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. It was always like that. We had those interactions. It's just like, I mean, it was between sometime interpreters and the units that we work with. It's just like, boys being boys and try a, we're in that like like age of we try to like show ourselves like or our strength. And it was funny. It was something innocent. Like we all did it. I did it. The people that I worked out with did it. So it happened, yes, but it's like from a higher rank standpoint, it's different. They don't want to create any altercation. They don't want to create any problems for future missions.
Well, to actually make it a little bit funnier, so Christmas Day of 2007, my major had me dress up as baby Jesus because I was the youngest guy on the team. And I had to carry a 9 mil, and we were shooting at cigarettes and who can get close to the cigarette butt without hitting the cigarette. It was a quite interesting time, but in all honesty, like the smaller the unit that you work with, or the more intentional unit that you work with, the closer the atmosphere. How was it for you when you were actually like you decoupled yourself from being in the interpreter and the religious advisor?
So I again I like I never decoupled myself, but I was not like I know some people like they're super conservative when it comes to religion, and they
Mhm.
don't like take it easy. Like if you have any questions and you can, any idea you want to bring it up or say, hey, this guy said that, this guy like 1400 years ago did that. What is your thought about it? And immediately, without even knowing the background of it or the roots of that particular subject, they get defensive,
Mm.
and that's happened. But I didn't come up from a family that was super conservative. We're just easy. I mean, we were practicing the religion, but we were not like super conservative. So that's why it was easy for me to interact on both sides. And again, being a minority also helped. It's like, okay, this is my way of freedom, you know. So
Well, it's because right now I'm a minority in my master's in social work program. I'm the only white male that I know of that's in my program. So out of 5 classes, I'm the only white dude. So, and then put on top of that being a combat vet, yeah, I don't fit the mold, but I find it to be really really interesting about trying something new and actually not being part of it. Like the so I'm not trying to push on certain areas, but the only reason I'm actually bringing up this next one was we had some people in the Marine Corps that their first name was Muhammad, and
uh-huh.
the drill instructors would mess with them, or other Marines would mess with them about being that. And I think I am so blessed that the guys that you work with never treated you that way, and they treated you with dignity, from what it sounds like.
100%, 100%. Yeah. So like, I mean, again, it's there's certain interactions you'll have with certain people that doesn't reflect the majority. But I mean, if I am just like a pointing a finger, it's like a one particular incident, like, hey, this happened there, uh, that reflects and repaints everybody else,
Hmm.
which is not fair. So like, yes, I had certain things. I mean, it was just, I would say it is like those people were not educated enough. Like, but I had a lot of more enjoyment with the rest of them that I did ton of stuff with and interacted with. And I mean, they were like, I mean, I'm sure that you had those days too. Like, we would come back from the mission and like you'll see all the soldiers at the interpreters' rooms, like in their, whether they're pokering, whether they're playing backgammon, or they want to explore some of the food in that country. Which interpreters had the privilege to kind of like get it together.
Because I remember them bringing a roof over, and then they actually beheaded the, I think it was like lamb, and they end up actually just cooking it up right there. But I remember smoking a lot of tequila with them, drinking a lot of chai with them, and it was an interesting situation. But so the reason I asked you about the decoupling was like I know when I left the Marine Corps, for me it was pretty difficult because of these people understood me, and they understood my mission, they understood that perspective. I was wondering, as an interpreter, as yourself, if you actually felt like when you left the American forces, did it actually leave like a little bit of a void, or did you just carried on with business as usual?
Well, I mean, yes, there were uh, sometimes it's just like certain stuff that has happened. You've seen it, you witnessed it. You're like, it just doesn't compute to regular people's mind. It's just like, oh, I had this incident, and I mean, back then, as I look at it, it was probably hard as it comes. Yeah, incidents, and we had like uh, our own struggles in our own way. But like one of the incidents was uh, There was a town called Taza. It's a South Kirkuk. The majority of them are Turkmen Shias. So a suicider with a semi fully exploded, just ran into the town and detonated it and killed a lot of people, like with children, elderly women. So uh, for me to experience that, that was a shocking thing because I have never seen something like that. I never seen like, human body parts flying here and there, or seeing little kids. It was struggled with it for a while, but uh, I think it's like for me is I always try to stay uh, um, how to say it, more of a uh, uh, motivated to educate myself and kind of like do things different to distract myself and then surround myself with the like people that uh, I can communicate with and we can relate. It did help. It did help significantly, but it just like, you know, but uh, the motivation to fight towards that was what helped me a lot. It's like, you know what, it, uh, it happened. It wouldn't be the first one. It wouldn't be the last one, and just move on. Yes, I had my struggles, but it wasn't as 100%. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people that do the same thing for years and years and years and years. That is it's not easy to get over it.
It's not easy to get over it because I don't know if you ever get over it. Even living in Billings, Montana, if I come across a pothole, and not all the time, but there's still sometimes that will make my butthole pucker. And if I see something hanging from the wires, still sometimes my spidey sense will go off.
Yep,
And
yep.
I'll be walking around, and then I'll catch myself looking at the rooftops. And I'm like, all right, I know what we're doing. Cool. Let's try to get back to the basics.
Yeah.
And it's for a while that used to be super exhausting for me. But I've been lucky and I've been blessed. I had the VA that really helped me out a lot over the years. And as an interpreter, I don't know what type of support system you guys had.
Uh, we the only type of support system we had it was like our friends, people in our circle. But the things is like you know, again, it's a different from one person to another. It's just like, hey, where do you want to be? How do you want to live? What is your purpose? Is your time done here or not? So like you have to basically dial all these numbers and try to find a way out. So it's like more of like a, we had to plan everything. Like, hey, you know what? I want to change my lifestyle. I want to live differently. I want to do this, do that, interact. And the one thing is like uh, community. Community helps a lot. Community and your friendship, your surroundings helps significantly. It's like I, uh, I mean, here in particular, like in Billings, I had a like friends interacted with, and I mean, whether telling my story or not, but I did something that makes me enjoy life, makes me uh, push forward.
So, Muhammad, instead of me just always asking a lot of questions and picking on it, what's part
Mhm.
of the story that you wish that you could have told that some people are either afraid of asking or it doesn't usually get brought up to you?
Okay. The one other question is the differences of understanding someone is different than you. Uh, the one thing I'll say, uh, people should not uh, go ahead and immediately alienate each other. We're whether we like it or not, we're all humans and we're all from Adam and Eve, regardless of our faith, our race. Okay. So, and it's like people need to be nice to each other. People need to be helping, extending hand and help each other out, because we're all trying to make living and basically provide for our families. That's a simple thing. It's like whether you see people coming from different countries, they're all seeking better place. They're all seeking the better lifestyle for themselves, for their families. I mean, you lived in New York, you end up here in Montana in Billings. It's just like it's a why did you do that? You did it for yourself, your family. I mean, regardless of this state is a majority white folks state or not, but you did grow up differently than a lot of folks here. You did have a different mindset and mentality, but you're seek something better. You're always try to improve yourself, and that's what a lot of people do. It's just like if people just focus on that, it's like, hey, for example, we can say, hey, I'm not making a good income, or I'm paying a lot of taxes in this state. You immediately look for what are the options. What do you want to do? Like, oh, I want to move to another state. I don't want to pay taxes. Or you try improve yourself. You try provide for your family. You try better yourself. That's the whole thing, for everybody, whether they're black, white, orange, purple, doesn't matter. We're all humans and we're all try to live another day.
The thing that I try to get to with some people to think about is, even though that we believe things are going to be better on the other side, I moved to Montana. I joined the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps was a lot better than where I was living. I joined living in the Marine Corps. I'm like, I didn't know what I asked for. I didn't know what was drinking the Kool-Aid of the cult. I didn't know how it was going to be. I didn't know how my life was going to be shifted afterwards. Moving to Montana, I didn't realize how good it was going to be or how different it was going to be. And I started thinking about how much people with different ethnicities, when they actually leave behind a country that they're familiar with, or they're leaving behind a lot of their customaries, how does that look like when you're looking for something better? And then all of a sudden, it's like, even though it's better ish, because that familiarity is completely different. And not to be rude when I say this, Muhammad, you nailed it. Montana is a very whitewashed state. For you to move out here is an act of courage. How, but you actually have a better life. But how does that look like in the translations? I know you've been more on the positive. Curious if you ever actually think about the things that are the shackles and want to return to the back in the past.
Well, the thing is like a lot of us, unfortunately, were focused on the negatives on the social media,
Hmm.
and angers a lot of us, and certain algorithm always pushes that narrative. So like whether it's you're on Facebook or TikTok, I mean, you open up something, it's like just pushing that and angering you more and more and more and more, and like what's fair. Whether if you're on the left side or you're on the right side, it's just like uh, that's whatever you open up, that's what you're seeing, that's what the algorithm is. uh People, like, this is for me, and I'm not trying to ask us what's like Montanans like. But here in Montana, people are actually way friendlier what they look on the social media.
Shh, we're full.
Yeah, we are. We are. I agree. I agree. But they're like, people over here, like, they want things to be left alone as they grew up. Open their eyes to it. It's like, hey, this is what my grandparents lived like, and this is what they know. It's I want to keep the same line of running forever. I mean, I don't blame them, but uh, generally, like certain things that you see here and there, people always like try to reach out and help. Like that's what you find in the communities. Like, when someone needs help, you'll see like your neighbor surroundings are all offer, hey, what can I do? Like, hey, what do you need? Like, and this is amazing. That helps ton. And instead of just like being on the like getting angered by social media or what uh, certain political, I wouldn't say political parties, but certain sites want to push one particular narrative to trigger me.
That's why when you said black, white, orange, and purple, I'm like, we have all three of those. I just don't know where the purple comes in. And I'm like, but not trying to do any political puns. The thing that I really love about the interaction I have with you right now, if you've been talking, is that the positive upspin. It's you brought up the VBID, vehicle borne IED. You brought up, but then you also had your people. You look for something better. Even when I was asking you about any of the drawbacks, you were focusing on the positives. And for a person like yourself, like you have I would think a legitimate complaint if you had one, but you're coming across so positive, man. And when I asked you how would you like to be introduced, you just said part of the community of Billings. Like it really hit me home when you said that because it's just like you give a shit. You care about where you're at. You want things to be better. You said, "Hey, no questions are off limits if it's going to help somebody."
100%. Yeah, yeah. This is the thing. It's like, you know, to help us uh, and help our community and people who are watching us is like everyone, everyone. I mean, there's not no way that there's someone in this planet that they don't have a positive thought. Okay, we all have it. Just we can what we need to do is focus on it and push. It's just instead of a you know certain setbacks, something happened here or something happened there. It's like okay, and that's where basically uh, makes people more angrier and focus on that negative side instead of focusing on the positive. That's how people come out of the the lifestyle they're not happy with. Just fight for it. That's the whole message is fight for it.
What I also hear is opportunity. It's you got a setback, there's an opportunity to growth.
100%. It's just like see if you don't have those setbacks, you will never appreciate life. You will never know the taste of uh, the positive outcome. It's like you have to have those bumps on the road in order to stand up and get on your foot. So you have to have those. Otherwise, you know, uh, you wouldn't be there to help a lot of people that need that kind of guidance, that kind of uh, extending hand and help them out and guide them, or I wouldn't see people in my community try to help out whenever I need it, or vice versa.
There's a saying that no good captain of a ship have only rode on smooth seas.
100%.
And I had a conversation with a person earlier today that I'm going to go on his podcast on Friday. And what was interesting to me is like when I was telling him, I'm like, hey, dude, he's like, so what do you do? Like, I'm like, hey, I'm in the business of losing money. I just want to help people. I just want to help people. And he was like, in his mind was, how do we actually monetize this to help people out so you could be able to make a few more extra bucks? And I kind of feel like when we get too close to money, it actually ruins the relationship with the other people because it becomes the God above all, the God before the intimate relationships of, say, you and I. Hopefully, I get a chance to buy you a cup of coffee because now I know you drink coffee. I'll sit down and have a cup of coffee with you and be able to make a genuine relationship instead of how could I actually have a transaction between money and a person?
Yep, and that is comes with the will. So if you have the will, you can fight it. I mean, I know uh, money in a certain level corrupts people and turns them into robots. I mean, we do need it to move forward in our life. We need it. We need the money to have a shelter, roof over our heads. Get a cars to go from point A to point B. We need that money, but uh, it's like not to the point that we start worshiping it. I mean, like people that get to that point instead of like using it to benefit with it and help their surroundings, it's just turn it into God and worship it.
Hmm. It's like, how can we be able to collect a bunch of ones and zeros? But so, what is the message that you would love for people to hear from you, Mohammed?
So the message is I want to tell to people that watching your podcast is educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself, read and get out of your bubble, and don't be afraid to to fall or to you know uh, have that outcome in the beginning that you don't desire. It's just like when you educate, you're gonna run into obstacles. You're gonna think that, oh my gosh, those are the things that I'm not familiar with, or the old of me would not approve it. Just you need to get out of that bubble and educate yourself. uh, Read, meet people that they're different than you, and see their side, hear their story, let them hear your side, and that's how people are, communicate better and help each other better.
Shukran, shukran.
Ala rasi.
It's so beautiful to hear this, man, and it's I really appreciate the positive spin that you have, the upward spiral, and if you are ever looking to be able to make some more relationships out here, you're in your 30s, your 40s.
I am about to hit 41.
Oh shit, man, you're right behind me. I just turned 41 last month. So, yeah, you know what? Never mind. Your bones and your bodies are already broken up, so it's all good.
We're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. We still have the flesh that moves us, you know
Yeah, you have a very positive story, and honestly, super glad that you actually gave me a chance to speak with you. And I'm glad that you're helping out other people that are coming over here. And what was the name of the agency, or are you allowed to say, that helped you out with becoming
so
a citizen?
uh the agency was in New York, helped me out. I Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of it, but I believe the one is here is the Lutheran Family Services, and uh, they're doing an amazing job. They are doing an incredible job. I mean, like with the certain political agenda and what's uprising and what's going on, and they're able to monitor around and help people. It's incredible. And just like again, that comes from people are selfless. People are like empowered, and they try to do some goods in the country, and it is amazing. It's like uh, and I know I wouldn't say a lot of them, but I know for sure some of them are just volunteers, and it's not everyone can do that. It is an amazing thing, but yeah, that is incredible thing. I like when I talk to those people that they work here, uh and I appreciate them all the time. I like you guys doing an incredible job with all the obstacles, with all the struggles. It's like it's not easy. Thank you. I tell them that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. If you talk to them, say thank you from a total stranger to them. And one of the people I was listening wanted to say that they have a dance community over here. And I don't know if you're into that type of stuff, but they do have quite a bit of a following of people that will teach people how to dance and enjoy that stuff. And Mohammed, I look forward to actually meet with you in person.
Same for me. I am happy and pleasure to be part of this podcast, and hopefully we'll meet in person. Definitely.